The most important point to remember is that a lot of the times we focus on disaster response.
Yeah.
And if we just focus on disaster response, we tend to assume that things will go back to normal afterwards. But climate change is a reminder that there is no such thing as the normal anymore. And that post-crisis, we can't assume that things go back to status quo ante. And that means that in order to manage complex risks like climate change, we actually need to do more than just preparing ourselves against disasters, but also change the way we think about our production system.
Yeah.
So let's start with agriculture. So for example, we obviously not only need to figure out how to do better crop insurance, we also need to make sure that we're investing in climate-smart agricultural production methods that will handle water better, that can help us manage drought as well as floods. And we need to make sure that whichever pathways we choose in agricultural production will be more sustainable. In terms of our design for energy systems, moving towards a lower carbon, climate resilient energy solutions would be key, even though there is a question of time frame, but I think the direction is very clear, that in a way is our only way forward. Well, I think since we're in the Philippines, we should remind ourselves that Super Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda obviously not only caused a lot of damages in lives and livelihoods, but it also knocked 0.8% of GDP from the Philippines last year at the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, in a way, I think it is almost a false choice between economics and sustainability. Again, let's look at another example, the floods in Thailand in 2011. Floods in Thailand probably cost Thailand about 2% of the GDP, wrecked 6 industrial estates, millions of small businesses are affected, and a lot of growth that Thailand had accrued in the periods before are undone by obviously the damages from extreme weather. So I think it is really important to remember that the two of them has to go hand in hand. And this is exactly when we make decisions about our investment structure that we have to bear those costs in mind. Investing in disaster preparedness is obviously a very key part of the puzzle. I think the United Nations reminded us that every dollar we spent on preparedness and risk reduction, we save $7. And at the moment, however, the number says that every dollar we spend today on risk reduction is outmatched by about $9 we are spending on recovery globally. So I think, again, the starting point has to be that we're investing in risk reduction. Now, what does that mean? That not only means that we've got to find new mechanisms to help transfer some of the risk to the market or to help deal with some of the insurance-related issues. It also means that we need incentives for investing in stronger, more resilient infrastructure. So I think it is exactly in looking at how do we make sure that the next generation of investment will be more resilient, that we need to invest more time in exploring.